Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we've got an episode jam-packed with Duggar family updates that you won't want to miss, so let's dive right in. First up, the big question on everyone's mind are Jana Duggar and Jill Duggar finally friends again after years of tension, family distance, and estrangement. Jana's recent wedding has left fans wondering if it sparked a renewal of her relationship with Jill. Jan and Jill have had their share of family issues, and for a long time it seemed like the gap between them was growing, but now that Jana is living her own life and has seemingly stepped out of her father's shadow, could this be the beginning of a renewed sisterly bond? Well, we're going to explore all the latest updates, fan theories, and everything that's been going on with their relationship, so stick around, because this story has so many layers. But that's not all. We've got an emotional story coming up about Jill Duggar that you won't want to miss. Jill recently opened up about a deeply personal and heartbreaking moment, unpacking her pregnancy go back after suffering a devastating miscarriage. She's been incredibly brave in sharing her grief with the public, and her reflections have resonated with so many women who've gone through similar experiences. It's a powerful reminder of how common and painful miscarriages can be. We'll take a closer look at Jill's journey through grief, how she's finding strength, and the overwhelming support she's received from fans. If you are someone you know has experienced a loss like this, you'll find solace in hearing Jill's story. And in other Duggar news, we're talking about Jana Duggar, who recently clapped back at some wild pregnancy rumors. Social media, as we all know, can sometimes be a tough space, and when Jessa shared a simple family photo, some fans took it upon themselves to speculate about her body and whether she was pregnant again. Well, Jessa wasn't about to let those rumors fly without addressing them, and she did it in the best way possible. We'll break down what happened, why it didn't sit well with Jessa, and how her response resonated with fans. Finally, we're going to dive into some potential big family news from Jana Duggar. Jana recently opened up on her podcast about the possibility of expanding her family, and what really caught everyone's attention was her mention of having twins. Yes, twins. With twins already running in the Duggar family, fans are buzzing with excitement. Could Jana and Jeremy be the next Duggar couple to join the twin parent club? We're going to break down what Jana had to say, the chances of twins running in the Duggar family, and whether this playful speculation could become a reality. All right, let's start with Jana Duggar's surprising wedding in August. Jana Duggar quietly tied the knot with Stephen Wisman in a small, intimate ceremony that didn't follow the typical Duggar family tradition of extravagant courtships and weddings. For many fans, this wedding was significant not just because of the lucky approach, but because of the potential shift it signifies in Jana's life. Jana, who is known as the eldest Duggar daughter, has long been seen as the family's rock, often stepping into the role of caretaker for her younger siblings, while her other sisters pursued early marriages. What stood out the most, however, was the attendance of Jill Duggar at Jana's wedding. Now, if you've been following the Duggar family for any length of time, you probably know that Jill has been somewhat of a black sheep in the family. For the past few years, her estrangement from her parents and the rest of the family, particularly her father, Jim Bob, has been well documented. Jill has distanced herself from the family's strict fundamentalist beliefs, choosing instead to live a more independent life with her husband, Derek Dillard. So the fact that Jill showed up to celebrate her sister's big day is huge. Now, was Jill's attendance just a formality, or could it be a sign that things between Jana and Jill are starting to heal? That's the big question. And honestly, fans have been buzzing with theories. Some believe that Jana's newfound independence, finally stepping out of the Duggar household and away from her father's control, might have made her more empathetic towards Jill's journey. It's possible that Jana, now living her own life, may be able to understand why Jill made the decision she did to break away from the family's rigid dynamics. It's also worth noting that Jana's wedding broke several traditional Duggar family norms for when the couple had a long engagement, which goes against Jim Bob's preference for quick courtships and marriages. And let's talk about that wedding gown. Far from the ultra-conservative styles we've seen on her sisters. Could this be a sign that Jana is finally stepping out from under her father's shadow? And if so, could it mean that she's becoming more open to reconnecting with Jill? Reddit and other online forums have been buzzing with fan theories about how Jana's newfound freedom might influence her relationship with Jill. Some fans think that now that Jana is married and no longer playing the role of the family's unpaid babysitter, she may have more time and emotional space to reconnect with Jill. For years, Jana was seen as Jim Bob's right-hand daughter, obedient, involved in family affairs, and seemingly loyal to the Duggar way of life. But with her marriage to Stephen, that dynamic could be shifting. There's another theory floating around that maybe Jana has always been more independent than we've given her credit. For some fans believe that Jan's choice to marry Stephen wasn't a rebellion against her father's wishes, but rather the culmination of her own personal decisions that she made on her own timeline. If that's true, then perhaps her relationship with Jill won't change dramatically after the wedding. One Reddit user even remarked, "I don't think any new relationship, siblings-wise, will magically appear because of the wedding. Outside of the Duggar family and her public fallout with her parents, particularly Jim Bob, has made it difficult for her to openly connect with her siblings without facing backlash. Could it be that Jana's new life and newfound independence are allowing her to reconnect with Jill in a way that wasn't possible before? Only time will tell, but we'll be keeping a close eye on any updates in this evolving relationship. So what do you think? Is Jana's marriage opening the door for a closer relationship with Jill? Or is it just wishful thinking from Duggar fans who've been hoping to see the sisters reunited for years? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Next up, we're diving into an incredibly emotional story about Jill Duggar. If you follow Jill's journey, you know that she's been open about her struggles with miscarriages in the past. Recently, Jill shared a heart-wrenching update on social media, revealing that she had finally unpacked her pregnancy. Go back after losing her baby earlier this year. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with the concept of pregnancy go, is something expectant mothers prepare to take to the hospital when it's time to give birth. It's filled with essential items like clothes, toiletries, snacks, and other personal things that you'd need during your hospital stay. For Jill, unpacking this bag months after her loss was an incredibly painful and emotional moment. In her post, Jill shared how seeing the items she had carefully packed for her baby's arrival, such as ginger tea and another pregnancy essentials, brought back a flood of emotions. She described the unique pain of looking at those items and realizing that she would never get to use them for the purpose she had intended. What's remarkable about Jill is how vulnerable and open she has been about her grief. She hasn't shied away from discussing her miscarriages, and in doing so, she's helped so many women who have experienced similar losses feel less alone. Her openness has sparked conversations about miscarriage, a topic that is still unfortunately shrouded in stigma and silence. The reaction to Jill's post was overwhelming. Thousands of women, many of whom had gone through similar experiences, reached out to share their own stories of loss and grief. One woman even commented that she too lost her baby shortly before Jill, and like Jill, still hasn't been able to bring herself to unpack her own pregnancy items. These moments of shared grief highlighted just how universal the pain of miscarriage can be, but also how isolating it can feel at the same time. In the midst of all the sympathy and support, Some fans also noticed a subtle message in Jill's post that sparked a bit of controversy in her caption. Jill included the phrase, "Every life is worth protecting no matter how small," while many understood this as a deeply personal sentiment, reflecting Jill's love for her lost baby. Others interpreted it as a nod to her pro-life stance. This sparked a mix of reactions, with some fans praising her for the message, while others felt that it was inappropriate to include such a statement in the context of a miscarriage. Despite the debates over the message, the overall response to Jill's post was one of overwhelming empathy and solidarity. Women who have experienced miscarriage often talk about how difficult it is to let go of the small reminders, whether it's a go bag, an ultrasound photo, or even something as simple as ginger tea that they drank during their pregnancy. These items, once filled with hope, now carry an immense emotional weight. One fan even suggested that Jill might want to consider genetic testing given her history of miscarriages. They pointed out that recurrent miscarriages can sometimes be linked to chromosomal issues, and getting tested could provide some answers and possibly help prevent future losses. It's a suggestion that Jill may or may not choose to explore, but it's clear that her fans are rooting for her and hoping she gets the support and care she needs. Grief is such a personal journey, and it's inspiring to see Jill facing her emotions so publicly. For anyone out there who has experienced lost, Jill's story is a reminder that you're not alone in your pain. We wish Jill and her family peace and healing as they navigate this difficult time. Now, let's switch gears and talk about something a bit lighter. Jana Duggar's recent clapback at pregnancy rumors. As we all know, social media can be a tough place and people can sometimes cross the line with their comments. Well, when Jessa posted a sweet family photo on Instagram recently, most of her fans responded with love and admiration, but a few couldn't resist speculation about her appearance and whether she was pregnant. Again, the photo showed Jessa, her husband Ben Sewald, and their 5 adorable kids enjoying a day at the beach. It was a lovely family moment, but as is often the case on social media, some fans decided to focus on Jessa's appearance rather than the content of the photo itself. One user commented, "She looks pregnant again," and another echoed the sentiment, speculating that Jessa was expecting her 6th child. But Jessa wasn't about to let those rumors run wild. Without addressing them in a quick-witted response, she shut down the speculation with a bit of humor. She replied, "Not pregnant, just too much ice cream on vacation," and just like that, Jessa effectively ended the rumors. Fans quickly rallied around Jessa, praising her for her lighthearted response and calling out the unnecessary body speculation. It's a reminder that we should all be more mindful of our words, especially when it comes to commenting on someone's body or appearance. As many of Jessa's supporters pointed out, it's never appropriate to assume someone is pregnant based on how they look. Women's bodies go through so many changes, especially after having children, and those changes don't always have to mean pregnancy. What's great about Jessa's response is how she handled the situation with both grace and humor. Rather than letting the comments get under her skin, she used the moment to remind everyone that sometimes a little weight gain or a different angle in a photo doesn't necessarily mean someone is pregnant. And her fans couldn't agree more. They flooded the comments with messages of support, telling Jessa how much they admire her for being confident in her own skin and not letting the body shamers get to her. This clapback serves as a reminder that social media can sometimes bring out the worst in people, but it can also showcase the strength and resilience of those who face unwarranted criticism. So what do you think of Jessa's response? Have you ever experienced body speculation like this? Let us know in the comments below. And finally, let's talk about Jana Duggar and her potential family. expansion. In a recent episode of her podcast, Jinger made a playful comment that has fans buzzing. She talked about the possibility of having twins now. If you've been following the Duggar family for any length of time, you know that twins run in the family, so could Jinger and Jeremy be next in line for a twin surprise. Jinger's brother Jedediah is already expecting twins with his wife Katie Nakadu, and twins seem to be a part of the Duggar family legacy. Jinger has said she'd be down for twins, even joking that it would be a faster way to have babies. And while Jinger was clearly being playful in her comments, it has fans wondering, could this actually happen? There's no denying that the possibility of twins is in Jinger's genes. Her mother, Michelle Duggar, had 2 sets of fraternal twins, which occurred because she double ovulated. This genetic predisposition could very well increase Jinger's chances of having twins naturally, but of course there's no way to guarantee that it will happen unless, as Jinger mentioned in her podcast, there's some sort of medical intervention involved. Regardless, fans are excited about the possibility with the Duggar baby boom in full swing, especially with Jed and Katie's twin announcement. It's no wonder that fans are speculating about whether Jinger will be the next Duggar to announce a pregnancy, possibly with twins. Jinger and Jeremy have been intentional about their family planning, choosing to take a different approach from Jinger's parents. We're open to having as many children as possible. Instead, Jinger and Jeremy have focused on having a smaller family and raising their daughters, Felicity and Evangeline, in a more modern and private way. But as we've seen, life has a way of surprising us. Could Jinger and Jeremy's next addition to the family be twins? Only time will tell. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think Jinger was just having fun with the idea, or could we actually see the Voos join the twin parent club? And that's it for today's episode of The Fame. We covered a lot of ground today. Jana and Jill's potential renewed bond, Jill's powerful story of grief, Jess's epic clapback, and Jinger's exciting family plans. If you're as excited as we are to see what's next for the Duggar family, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.